What's going on, guys? B-McG here. We are here today with a rank 5 Overseer showcase, and we are in Ordeal. We soloed every single fight in Ordeal with Overseer. So before we get too far into this, I just want to make a huge disclaimer and say that Overseer is not a villain. He's also not a hero. He is neither of those tags. So he's not going to work for the Carina's challenges. So don't try to replicate using him in Carina's challenges for this, because he's just not going to work. You're not going to get credit for using him on the team. So that may lead you to your next question. And you might be wondering why I made this video. So if you guys have watched Fallout Season 1 on Amazon Prime, when the ghoul was introduced, he said, "I do this shit for the love of the game." And that's kind of how I feel when it comes to using Overseer in content and just brute forcing him, because I do it just because it's fun and Overseer is my favorite character, and I figured I took him to rank 5. Where's like a better spot to showcase him off? So like this is it. Like, max boosted. I have a dedicated mastery tree for him. We have a full synergy team, and this is just showcasing like the absurdity of Overseer when you can just like fully dedicate a build to him and then boost, obviously. So yeah, it's not meant to be some guide. It's just meant to be a little showcase on how crazy Overseer can be when he's like max boosted and everything's built out for him. So yeah, this Doom fight, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. As long as you have an XL champion, you can pretty much just ignore most of the nodes, and it just becomes a standard Dr. Doom fight. And yeah, I mean, it's a really straightforward, easy fight. I had a lot of fun doing it. This was one of my testing spots for a while when I used like science champions. I remember going back in here for Grandmaster's Gauntlet and testing against Dr. Doom for Overseer showcases back in the 6-star days. But this Terrax fight is a really fun one because Overseer benefits against Terrax because every time he crosses a bar of power threshold, even though he's like draining himself due to the rock field, we gain gamma power, which means we could ramp up extremely fast. So we're never not going to be fully ramped in this fight, which leads to Overseer just having max damage the whole time. We have no way to really deal with the rock field damage, so it's just going to be something that happens throughout the fight. We do have inequity if we could stack up debuffs, but since we're not baiting specials, we're not really going to be placing the special concussions that much. So we're just going to be relying on the special 1 regens, the willpower healing from the armor breaks, and yeah. So I mentioned that I ran a fully dedicated mastery tree for Overseer, and you guys might be wondering what that is. So I'll be showing screenshots throughout this video just when I want to explain certain things that come into play. So the biggest one that you guys are seeing is that I'm running half suicide masteries or half recoil tree. So I have recoil at 1 out of 1, and then for liquid courage I have that at 3 out of 3 because Overseer's immune to poison. That also gives him a gamma power on fight start, meaning I could ramp him up faster. And I chose not to use double edge just because I didn't want to deal with the bleed debuff. That would have been punishing later on in the run. I'll get into it when that fight comes up. But yeah, liquid courage at 3 out of 3 because Overseer's immune to poison is huge. You saw on fight start here that we gain the gamma power on fight start, and then we have vision here. Vision is extremely easy with Overseer. You have the taunt on the heavy attack to make sure that Vision throws special attacks. So the node makes it to where Vision throws a special 1, then a special 2, and then a special 3, and then the special 3 instantly kills you. But if you have a taunt, that's your main way of dealing with this fight, or power control. Overseer has a great taunt. He has it for 10 seconds. The cooldown's 20 seconds. So if you play just a little bit slower, you can have pretty much no worry of eating a special 3 against Vision here. So yeah. The next part I want to highlight in the mastery tree for Overseer is that I have the Science Serum Mastery, or Serum Science. I have that at 4 out of 5. When I unlock my final point from like getting to my level up stuff, I will get that to 5 out of 5. That will provide 960 energy resistance, which I think is like close to 20 or 30%, which is pretty decent. We also are running Max Pacify, which is at 3 out of 3. That reduces the opponent's ability accuracy by 30% when they're stunned. I typically don't run this, but since Overseer is very focused on stunning the opponent, He also has the special concussions built in, and then he also has the disorient off the special 2. I figured it makes the most sense to spec points into that mastery, because you can fail certain abilities. You'll see it later on when we're facing, I think, Thing is the biggest one, but there are other characters where it comes into play, and it's a useful mastery to be running. I always run 3 out of 3 in Inequity because Overseer stacks up debuffs pretty quickly. By the end of that fight, we had 7 special concussions, which maxes out Inequity, meaning we're reducing the opponent's attack rating by 36%. It's pretty huge. It's a really good way to boost your effective health, essentially, because if you're reducing the opponent's attack rating, it means they hit less hard, I guess. So yeah, MODOK here, pretty straightforward fight. He's actually one of the easier fights in the Ordeal, because when you parry stun him, or when you stun him in general, you benefit from the stun vulnerability node. There's the 1 node set that places the passive disorient on you when you parry, so you got to be careful with how often you're parrying. But Overseer, he has a stun on his special 1, which is extremely useful for this node because you also gain an increased attack rating when you use your special 1 with, I think it's called Specialist 1 is the node, I think. So yeah, Overseer, really solid for this fight. You can end up playing around with the ability accuracy of MODOK's auto block with the special concussions and then the disorient. If you get the disorient up and you have high potency of it, meaning you have a lot of gamma power before using the special 2, you'll have a pretty potent disorient, and then you pair that with your special concussions. I think you get to the threshold to where you can fail the auto block decently often, which is pretty useful. But yeah, for the rest of the mastery tree, there's nothing that's too crazy. I did play around with this tree before, and I wanted to like spec into different things. So when I'm not running the science serum, I would run like extended fury to boost my fury duration. But the biggest one is what I would do is run enhanced fury, because if you max that out, you get extra 8% potency on your fury, and Overseer's fury can get extremely potent. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with masteries. I know it's really impractical to build mastery sets for specific characters, but that's kind of the point with this video, right? Is like, I'm showcasing a character. I want to like really just go balls to the wall with like building up this character. So obviously max boost. I have a dedicated synergy team. I have the dedicated mastery tree. It's just like, it's fun. I mean, and when he could solo every single fight in this content, like why not do that kind of thing, right? I also used to use this mastery setup in War all the time, but I no longer play War that seriously. For the synergy team in this video, we are bringing along Shield. She makes regeneration effects more potent. I can't remember by the percentage. It's either 10 or 15%. And then she also has a synergy with Overseer that makes his damaging effects more potent. Okay, so the regen synergy is 5% increased potency, so I don't think that covers willpower, but it does boost the special 1 regen that he gets. And then the other synergy, that's where the 15% is. So he gains 15% increased potency to his damaging effects, which is all his retaliation damage, his light attack bursts. So all that becomes all that more stronger with the shield synergy. We also brought along Captain America Civil War. He gives Overseer a perfect block chance, and he also has a synergy with other science champions in general that you can bring them along, and you place a passive weakness on the opponent, reducing their attack rating by 50%, except while being struck by them. So I don't know if this synergy actually works, because I believe you're supposed to see the passive weakness on the opponent. But the thought process here was there's a lot of characters in here that do weird damage to you when they're not striking you. So like Korg is one example, Void is another example, I believe Thanos is another example where he can do damage to you when like he's not striking you. So reducing their attack rating by half is huge. I mean, it's probably, if it was working, it's probably the only reason why I was able to solo Korg. So yeah, that's why I was running that synergy. And then I can't remember the other synergy off the top of my head right now, but I'll cover it once I see it. This Spider-Ham fight takes a while. It sucks with most characters. There's really not that many great options for this fight. I was running the Hulk relic on Overseer. This I have at rank 5 Sig 200, so it gives him, you know, the maximum benefit. It's the best relic for him. For the rune, I was running Clobber. That one gives you additional burst damage when you deal non-hit physical damage, which is just the burst damage that you deal. I did give myself increased physical resistance from the relic because Killmonger and Korg both deal like a reverb or thorns style damage when you strike them, and it is physical damage. So I spec'd into the physical resistance up rune just to give myself that much more freedom to strike into them when they have reverb or the rock stacks active. And then for my stat focus, I also gave myself physical resistance because the physical resistance is huge against those two fights. So between the physical resistance stat focus, I had 477 from that as an attacker, and then from the relic, it gave me an additional 234, so that was up to like 600, almost 700 physical resistance that I'm getting from stat focus and relic. So it gets me to like 20-ish%, I believe, which is, it's not amazing, but it does play a factor. You'll see when we get to Korg, it's probably the only reason why I was able to solo him. Like, that fight is extremely tight with, I mean, you could even have great counters and that fight sucks. So the fact that I was able to do it with Overseer, you know, it just speaks volumes to the mastery setup that I was, or not mastery setup, but like just the setup in general. The reduced attack rating by 50% from the Captain America synergy, the physical resistance stat focus, the physical resistance rune, all that played into why I was able to solo Korg. So yeah, it's really cool how you can like build teams in this game still and have it feel impactful. So yeah, Spider-Ham's almost down. I was really tired of this fight. This fight sucked. There's really not much you can do. Like, there's no game plan here. It's just like hit Spider-Ham more than he hits you. You could bait the special one, get some willpower healing from the taunt. There's really not much of a strategy here other than just hitting Spider-Ham, which is kind of annoying. I like that there's strategies for all the other fights. Like Doom, I mean, it's just a solid Doom fight because at the time he was hard when Grandmaster Gauntlet came out, so he didn't really need all kinds of nodes to make him harder, but yeah. Oh, Mojo was the other synergy that I brought. So Mojo has a self synergy that also, like, he can grant to other people. So the synergy that he has is Cast of Characters. So all champions except Mojo gain plus 7% offensive combat power rate, which is huge for Overseer. I didn't really do it much in this content, but if you want to use Overseer and Stun Lock, you want to go for the Special 2 that gives you an Energize buff, and then Special 1s, and you know, you'll stun them, but now that you have the increased combat power rate from the Energize off the Special 2, and now you have that synergy, you can like Stun Lock, I think, get 3 Special 1s and a Striker in, and that just deals so much damage. The game plan here for Wolverine is to like try to get him out of his berserk mode, because once he's out of it, he loses all his regens. And I realized that way too late. I was punching into him way too much during that, and I should have just let it all fall off and focus on trying to knock him out while he's out of that mode, because he regens like so much and it's just way too much. So yeah, this fight super straightforward though. I mean, once you see, once we got that Special 3 off, we're dealing some ridiculous damage, and now we just gotta wait for the Unstoppable to go off, land that nice little light intercept. We go for the Special 2 here. That will get us the Energize that I'm talking about. And now we are going to, well, we're going to keep striking him. This is where I should have backed off. So now you can see that I decided to back off a little bit. And, you know, I realized, I'm like, yeah, I should probably do that to make sure that the regen gets canceled out. But you did lose your cosmic mode there. So it's kind of a dual-edged or double-edged sword. You either want to try to nuke or deal with the regen. But I decided to deal with the regen just because it's a lot easier. You don't want to keep punching into him and let him regen. We're going to go for the heavy attack here to taunt. That will get the Special 1. We failed the Unstoppable, which is funny with the special concussions. That's another thing that you're going to see as a very common theme, is that the special concussions are an extremely powerful ability that everyone seems to undervalue. It's basically a concussion that triggers during the window of a special attack. A lot of people have this misconception that it only affects abilities on special attacks, and while that is the most common thing that you're going to fail. You can fail things like rock stacks here. You'll see when we punish his special attacks, we are reducing his ability accuracy during the window of his special animation. So when we punish him, he's still in that special attack animation window, and we could fail certain things like his protection or his rock stacks. So it's a really useful ability that a lot of people sleep on. But yeah, this thing fight, the strategy here is to get to our special 2 and launch it, because the special 2, once you have enough gamma power, the disorient is actually really potent. And you're going to see, I think we're going to dex into a special 2 here. Yes, there, dex into special 2, drop it. And I think we have an 82% disorient now, which we're going to fail most of the rock stacks. We're going to fail the protection. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And we could just keep cycling that special 2, because the Mojo synergy gives us that increased combat power rate, and the energize that we get from the special 2 also makes it easier to get to the special 2. So yeah, it's just awesome time. I really love that pairing of Overseer and Mojo, just because, you know, Overseer likes throwing special attacks, and he doesn't have like easy ways to gain more power. So yeah, this thing fight pretty straightforward though. So I am gonna meet you guys at the next fight, because going forward, now that I've kind of covered all of the team setup and the synergy setup, the mastery setup, the relic setup, stat focus setup, I don't really think you guys need full-on commentary throughout the whole fight unless something interesting happens. And to be honest with you, nothing interesting happens here in the rest of this thing fight. It's just a standard nuke. We answer him well with our defensive ability accuracy reduction, and yeah, you just want to make sure you push him to 15 rock stacks before baiting a special. So yeah, I will catch you guys at the next fight. Alright, so now we're at Korg. This guy is an absolute demon. He is the one character I was the most afraid of, and you're going to see why. This guy has Mix Master, so he'll evade every repeating basic attack. So think High Evolutionary. If you repeat the same basic attack, he'll auto block. It's the same thing, but he'll evade like you saw here. He also has Flux Dispersal, meaning every time you hit him, he gains one of those Flux passives, I guess is what you want to call them. And you can see that my basic attacks are now dealing 0 damage. To reset that, you have to knock him down with a heavy attack. But Korg, he loves to purify, so you're not really going to find great ways to get that knockdown. And another thing, he has the rock stacks. So if you heavy attack into a rock stack, it's going to feel very painful, especially when you don't have a way to deal with the thorns. So Overseer, obviously not a great option for Korg. I'm only doing it because the premise of this video is to solo every single fight in the ordeal. And that we do, but it is extremely painful. You can see he's at 18, flux charges, but we cleared it with the heavy attack there. What we want to do here, since we were at max gamma, is go for the special 2. Special 2 places this disorient. We all know what the disorient does by now. At 6 gamma power, the disorient has 82% potency, meaning we could turn off the evade, we could turn off the damage that he deals from the rock stacks, we could just fail the rock stack in general. It's really funny that Overseer can counter Korg. I used to do it in Battlegrounds back during the 7-star launch. I find it hilarious. I used to do it with Killmonger too, although that fight's a little bit more finicky. Typically, you can handle Korg a lot more easier when there's no Mixmaster involved. But yeah, this was why we spec'd into the physical resistance stat focus. Apologies for that slip up there, and the physical resistance up rune, because his thorns from the rock stacks are physical damage. So when we punish there, you can see that 7200 burst. It would have been a lot stronger if we weren't running those two, ways of boosting our physical resistance. And then I think the Captain America synergy was working, and I mean, if it was, or if it wasn't, then this fight could be a lot cleaner, and then you wouldn't have to spec into those two physical resistance things. But if it was working, you're going to see how close to the wire this was. Like, it was extremely close to not being a solo. And I decided to just go full YOLO here at the end and start spamming specials, even though I know I have recoil, because, you know, you got to get this fight down. I mean, this fight is an absolute pain. Right there, I mean, we took even more physical thorns damage. I mean, we're at 20% health here. The amazing thing with Overseer's regen, though, is that it scales with missing health. So as you lose more health, you regen more, meaning you're gonna get through. You're gonna like not feel the pain of recoil as often. You just, you know, can't get hit at that point. But we have 6 gamma power now here for special 2, and we should pretty much turn off anything that would prevent us from finishing this fight. And we do. We get it done. This fight was terrible, but we got it done. That's all that matters. Next up, we've got Dragon Man, and this fight is usually straightforward, but I did not get lucky, and I'll explain that as we go on to this video. So right here, we're gonna bait a special attack from Dragon Man when he decides to throw it. Right here, he throws it, and we block the special 1. The special 1, when you block it, when he has the power charge, places the ineptitude. Ineptitude reduces the I think it's basically like a hinder, but for buffs that are affected by aptitude. So my fury buffs that I get in cosmic mode are going to be significantly weaker, and if he stacks enough of these ineptitudes, he will actually invert my attack rating, I believe. I can't remember if they're potent enough, but if there's 3 on there, I'm 99% sure he is reducing my attack rating when I have a fury, which is really strong. So yeah. We also get really unlucky because Aspect of Evolution, we did not win the battle of ability accuracy. So we have 7 special concussions. So Dragon Man's power charge, you can fail it during the special animation, and you could have it to where it never comes back again. But we did not get lucky in this fight, meaning we're always dealing with that power charge, and he's always going to keep gaining power, and Aspect of Evolution is just going to make him that much more tankier. The ineptitudes are just going to make our fury that much weaker. So this fight just stalls, but it's extremely safe with Overseer. After a certain point, you want to start baiting special 2s instead of special 1s, just so you can get the ineptitudes off of you, so you can deal more damage. But I didn't do that. I opted for safety in this fight because the willpower healing, staying topped up at 100% health, if he decides to turtle up and throw a special 3, we're not going to die because we're at max health. So that's the main reason why I didn't, you know, shift my game plan. I decided just to stick with what works, what I know works. You could see that heavy attack barely did anything. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be at the point where this fight just starts stalling. So yeah, sucks that we didn't get lucky with the ability accuracy reduction on the special concussions, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. The special concussions, they're 10% each, so it maxes out at a 70% concussion that you have pretty much at all times during the opponent's special attacks. It's just nuts. So yeah, that's the rest of this fight. I'll let it play out, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Alright, so Dragon Man's finally down. Now we can move on to the next fight, which is Black Panther Civil War. So this dude has Footloose, he also has Armored Assault, and he also has Arc Overload. So when he has an armor up buff, he's going to go unblockable. When he launches his special attack, he's going to gain that Unstoppable and Evade buff. So the game plan here, extremely simple. Don't bait special ones if you can. You already saw I baited one, and you're going to see why. Those cleanse, really annoying. You don't want the cleanse active because that reduces the uptime that you have on your special concussions because they won't exist because he'll cleanse them. So game plan, wait for those cleanses to go bye-bye. Now we could bait the special 2. He's not going to have any ability accuracy reduction for that special, but now he does because we've got that 10% special concussion active. This is important because if you get lucky with Overseer, you can fail abilities that trigger during special attacks. So let's say Arc Overload is going to trigger during the special attack. You have a chance to fail it. Let's say he launches a special and Footloose exists. There's a chance you could fail both those buffs. We don't get too lucky in this video, but it can happen. Right there, we accidentally baited special 1, which is frustrating because now we are missing what could have been 4 special concussions. Now we only have the 2. So yeah, frustrating, but it is what it is. After the special 3 though, we start to deal some really solid damage. I mean, that's over 100,000 damage per combo if you do full 5-hit combos. It's just nuts. So yeah, now we bait the special 2. That gives us our 3rd special concussion. Now we just wait for all these effects to fall off, and then we can start attacking again. So to make the opponent only throw special 2s, you just do 4-hit combos and stop short, and you block bait. So you go in here, 4-hit combo, immediately block, and then try to bait a heavy attack. And usually they throw it, they hit your block a couple times, and then throw the heavy attack. But yeah, we failed the evade buff there, as you saw, so it was just the unstoppable. It's still not ideal. You want to fail both of them if you can. Just because that would allow you to continue attacking. You can't really attack if they have the evade buff or the unstoppable buff. So yeah, I'm gonna let the rest of this fight play out though, just because it's not as interesting. Like, the fight's still cool, still some good stuff that happens in it, but there's really not much else for me to add other than like just talk over it. And I already gave you guys the rundown on how this fight needs to go down, what's the game plan here. So I will catch you guys at the next path, because I find that path a little bit more interesting for Overseer. Alright, so Black Panther's down, and now we're moving on to the 3rd path of Ordeal. This path starts with Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler, when he originally was in this, he didn't get his buff. Like, he didn't have his buff. So, he was a lot easier to fight. Like, you could switch his mode easier, but ever since his buff, he's really hard to, like, get him to, like, switch his modes, get into the yellow mode so he doesn't evade. But I played this fight wrong completely. Like, I kept trying to switch his stance, and that's just not going to work. So what I should have done was just parry stun a lot, use that for my openings, and then get to the special 2. Special 2 has the disorient. That will reduce his ability accuracy. I actually don't know if you could reduce his evade ability accuracy after his buff. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it ends up not mattering. You'll see why, because we end up getting hit, he switches his stance on his own, and we never have to worry about the evade ever again. So I'll point it out when it happens, but yeah, I can't believe, like, I kept trying to switch the stance, and he ended up just comboing into us, doing a full combo, ending with a light attack, switched his stance to swashbuckling. Now we never have to worry about the evade again. So now we can just strike this dude as much as we want. We've got the energize from the special 2. So now we could just, you know, try to stun lock. So we're going to go for the, I thought we were going to go for special 1, but we'll go for it here, I think. Our striker, we should have gone special 1, then striker, but I think we're trying to keep the disorient up because I didn't realize the mode switched. Yeah, so what I would have done if I had known was special 1 spam, use the striker for an additional stun, and just try to stun lock this dude as much as you can to finish out this fight. Just to maximize like the uptime on the cosmic mode, but it doesn't really matter because this fight is it's pretty much done. We're gonna punish the special 2 and he's done. So yeah, fun fight. Wish I noticed that I switched his mode earlier on accident when I got struck, but it is what it is. This next fight though sucks. This is Spider-Gwen, and this is another fight that if you don't have a good counter for, it's gonna suck. Like, these are the two, Korg and Spider-Gwen are like 2 of the most important fights in this, in my opinion, for making sure you have a counter. And she has Force of Will, she has Window of Opportunity stun, so you can't parry stun. She has One Eye Open, so if you do, you know, end up stunning her and getting it to stick without reflecting on you, if you attack her during the stun, she reflects the damage back to you. She also gains power when she evades, and I think she also has increased evade chance. So the game plan here, extremely simple, but it's terrible. You want to bait heavy attacks and punish the heavy attacks. The only thing that sucks, she's going to evade a lot. So you're going to have to be on point with making sure that you block so you don't get hit, because she ends up hitting really hard when she's fully ramped with those spider charges that she gets. So essentially, you just bait heavy attacks, try to land them, because when you do, you're going to deal some really strong burst damage. Also bait special attacks and punish those with, you know, your medium attacks, so you could try to inflict your retaliation damage. But yeah, it's not a great fight. This fight really is rough if you don't have someone who just turns off evade or ignores evade. You can't use ability accuracy reduction here because she is immune to it via Force of Will. So yeah, that's all you got to do here, is just try to make sure that you maximize your damage when, you know, punishing her heavies and specials. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys at the next fight though. Alright, so Spider-Gwen is down. Now we're moving on to Domino. This fight's a little bit more fun, but the strategy is a little bit weird just because of her ability accuracy reduction shenanigans. She has power shield, so the main way you deal damage is with special attacks. She also has Matador, so the only way you gain power is when she launches a special attack. So the game plan here with Overseer is to use our special 3s. That will give us the most amount of damage on our special attacks, I believe, unless you get lucky with crits on the special 2. But yeah, Bait special threes, or use special threes. You don't want to bait special threes, that'll kill you. Use your special threes that places a really strong physical vulnerability on her, meaning your burst of red damage that you're seeing pop through, those will be even stronger, and it's just the fastest way to get this fight down with Overseer. It's not ideal because she fails a lot of stuff. He's not a tech champion, so he can go unlucky, and it's really annoying. So we bait a heavy attack there and punish with the special 3. You'll see the burst of damage there was 86,000. It scales with the physical vulnerability that you place with the special 3. So yeah, little tip if you want to maximize your damage with Overseer and you're going for a special 3, make sure you're like punishing a heavy attack with the animation, because it's a nice way to increase your burst damage. But yeah, Domino, really straightforward fight once you get the hang of everything. You just have to make sure that you're being careful about her ability accuracy reduction shenanigans, because she is extremely annoying. And you know, she can evade when she's lucky, but after Spider-Gwen, if you didn't bring an evade counter, you should be pretty on point with not getting hit after evades, because you know, Spider-Gwen was evading a lot more. I mean, you have 3 straight evading champs on this path, and Domino evades the least out of all of those. So at this point, you should be pretty good with handling evade if you don't have a counter. So yeah, I'm gonna let the rest of this fight play out. I will catch you guys at the next one. Alright, Domino is down. Now we're on to Mojo. This fight is very fun. It's one of my favorite Overseer fights in the Ordeal. It's not the best Overseer fight, but Overseer ramps in this fight extremely fast because Mojo has staggers from the nodes that he places on you. So Overseer is immune to Nullify, Fate Seal, and Stagger. Stagger also ramps his Gamma Power when he's immune to it. So you can get to 6 Gamma Power insanely fast, and yeah, Mojo has that increased physical resistance with the node set, so the special 3 is the route you typically want to go. But if you're using enough specials with the Hulk Relic, you'll be placing enough physical vulnerabilities with the SIG of the relic itself, so you'll end up just chewing through that physical resistance passive anyways. Really easy fight, really fun fight. It's one of my favorite fights in the game for Overseer just because it's a long runway in terms of health. I mean, this Mojo has over 1.8 million health if I remember correctly. Overseer's damage just scales so well in this kind of content. Yeah, it's a fun time. So we're not going to let a buff end here, or at least we're going to try not to, but I believe we end up getting that Fury and he could... Actually, no. No, it does fail. I don't know what happened with that. I don't know why a buff ended. I didn't see a buff end, so I don't know. Not a huge deal though, because even when, you know, Mojo has enough like followers to place hater buffs on us, you'll see the degens really aren't that potent, and we could fail them with certain ability accuracy reduction measures. So it's not the biggest of deals if he inflicts the hater buffs on us or if he gets a degen on us, because you can see that degen's only dealing like 762. So yeah, it's like 1500 damage per second. It's really not too much at the end of the day when you're running a max boosted Overseer who has like 190,000 health. So yeah, obviously it's not ideal, but yeah, really not a huge deal either. We go for the special 3 here after ramping up to 6 gamma power, and now we just need to gain that fury buff. We will get it when we punish the special attack here, and now we're just going to be dealing a bunch of damage. We're going to go for the striker into a combo, and if he wasn't dead, we could use the special 1 and just keep going. We could have gotten 2 more special 1s off. Next up we have I-Bomb, and this is another amazing Overseer fight here, because Overseer is immune to poison, and poison ramps up Overseer via his signature ability. So this fight, extremely fast, extremely straightforward. You bait either special that you want. I prefer going with the special 2 because the special 2 increases his self-poison rate or the poison rate that he applies them to you. But you can see we're already at 6 gamma power, so it doesn't really matter what special you bait. Ideally, you go for the special 2 though, because he gains the toxic aura. The toxic aura consumes the self-poisons. Those self-poisons give I-Bomb certain resistances, I believe. So him consuming those is better for you because he's not going to be as tanky. Then again, it really doesn't matter when you see this damage that Overseer is dealing. I mean, not even a minute into the fight and we're halfway through it already. I think this is one of the fastest Ordeal fights I've ever had. And I'm at the point where I almost wanted to just full send it, but I decided to play it safe because my cosmic mode was close to ending. We go for the special 2 though, deal some really decent damage, go for a stand-up intercept there, and now we just bait the special 2, punish it, really decent damage, punish the heavy attack, and he's done. So that was 69 seconds, nice, and yeah, that's just crazy how fast that one went. And we're on the final path of Ordeal, starting with APOC. APOC here, he has, what's the one node? He treats all heroes like mutants, so he would gain 3 prowess to start the fight. And then all the other node sets here really don't matter for Overseer just because he doesn't interact with them at all. So Overseer pretty much ignores every single node here because he's not a hero, he's not a villain. So it's just a normal defending Apocalypse. And yeah, Apocalypse is a chunky dude. He has, I think, increased critical resistance, higher armor stats. So this fight's a little bit slower, but the game plan is just build to a special 3 and then do as much damage as we can. So you can see here what I'm doing to mitigate block damage is dex the first beam, try to parry the second one, and then dex the final one. And then the special 2, I know how to fully dex, but I'm like so far into this run that I don't want to risk anything. So yeah, just trying to be as careful as possible, not doing any unnecessary risks. The special 1 thing I've been practicing for a long time, so I feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, super straightforward fight. I will meet you guys at the Sasquatch fight, because that's one of my favorite fights in this, so I'll catch you guys there. Alright, so APOC is pretty much done here. We are now moving on to the next fight, which is Sasquatch. Again, I keep saying it, but Mojo, I-Bomb, and Sasquatch, all three are my favorite fights in Ordeal. Sasquatch has Power Snack. So back in the day when Grandmaster's Gauntlet dropped, Overseer was an amazing option for all three of those fights, in my opinion personally. And as someone at the time who was, fighting the good battle of trying to show everyone that Overseer is a good champion when he was widely underrated, those three fights showed immediate value. So looking back at them and being able to fight them today as like 7 stars with, meta relevant rewards, it's really cool just to go down like this nostalgic path and, fight 3 of my favorite fights from back in the day. Overseer's amazing for Sasquatch in general here though. He gains increased regeneration via the node set, but we have Despair at 3 out of 3. We're going to place enough debuffs to where we can kind of cancel out the regen, and we deal enough damage in general. So if he gains regen, we're not going to have to worry about him just like stalling us out. We're pretty much good to go. I mean, and you've got the Power Snack, so you can see my Cosmic Node's about to fall off. Really doesn't matter if it does, because we'll end up just ramping to 6 Gamma Power again. Right there, Sasquatch is in Wrath of Tanarak. He launches the special 2, no unstoppable. It's because we're failing it with special concussions. It's so useful. And Overseer, back in the day, was just one of my favorite Sasquatch counters for that very specific reason. So yeah, 26% health left against Sasquatch. This dude's pretty much cooked. We're gonna go for the special 2, and now we're just gonna try to fully nuke this dude down. We're gonna go for a striker here, and then heavy attack. We wanted to go in there for a combo to finish him off, but we go for another heavy, and then now we land our combo and he's done. So one of my favorite fights of all time. And we got that guy down in 108 seconds, minute 48. Next up, we've got Killmonger. So this fight's a little interesting. He has polka dot power, and then when he strikes your block, he's going to place some bleed debuffs. So Overseer, obviously, he has no damage over time effects. Technically he does if you count his retaliation, but that's not like a damaging debuff. That's like, it doesn't have like a time duration. It just is an instant effect, so it doesn't count for polka dot power. So Overseer is going to rely simply on having increased attack rating via Gamma Power and punishing specials and heavies. And this fight it's rough, but I wasn't that worried about it. You could play around the reverb a little bit better, and with the special concussions, what you can do is block the special attacks and end up regenning from willpower. So we'll end up failing a lot of the bleeds. So if he only places 1 bleed on us, we're not going to take a lot of damage, but we're going to end up, netting in, the willpower race. So right there, he only placed 1, and, we're regenning. So that's one way we're really countering the reverb here is, failing bleeds and then winning the willpower race. So you can see there when he places 5, we're losing the willpower race by 100 damage per tick. But when we fail stuff via the special attack, it allows us to, end up netting. So like right there, it was 240 versus 505. So that's the trick here to make sure that Overseer doesn't die, is by blocking special attacks hits. So you end up getting bled, which is interesting because you normally don't want to get the bleeds on this fight. But again, with Overseer, I mean, you gotta do it. It's the only way he really works for this fight. This fight is a little bit slower. It's kind of a rougher one just because Killmonger is such a tank. We don't have our special attacks. We don't have our disorient to turn off certain things. So yeah, this fight's just slower. It's safe once you get into the loop of it, and once you accept that you're gonna have to block attacks to regen, once you accept that, you're good. So I will meet you guys at the next fight. This fight is just going to be a lot of special attack baiting, a lot of special attack punishing, and yeah, so I'll catch you guys at the next fight. Alright, so Killmonger finally down. Fight was a little tricky, but we got it down. Took a little long, 4 minutes, 49 seconds. But next up we've got Void. This fight is kind of interesting. Some weird stuff happens. There's long distance relationship weakness, there's also power shield, and then shifting immunities. We don't care about the shifting immunities because we don't inflict bleed, and we don't inflict whatever the other debuff is. I can't remember what it is. But the long distance relationship weakness we care about, and power shield we also care about. But the cool thing about Overseer, like we mentioned in the Domino fight, is that he gets around power shield somewhat because his burst damage gets through it. So the red damage, we can still deal that. So we could bait heavy attacks, punish those. We could bait special attacks, punish those. The weird thing that happens in this fight, though, is that Void's damage that he deals when we have the debuffs active on us, it's very weak. Like, right there, we were out-healing the damage when we're out-healing it there. And I end up just, like, not caring about stacking these weaknesses up. You're gonna see, like, it barely did anything. And now the damage is less. It's 339 now instead of 400. So I don't know what is going on here, but I'm not going to complain. I don't know if there's some inequity shenanigans going on where we're reducing his attack rating, because that's the only probable thing I'm seeing. Like, I don't know if we failed the damage somehow with pacify and stun or special concussion. Like, I have no idea what was going on here, but I could have played a lot more aggressive because the damage just, it really wasn't that high. I mean, once we get that weakness on us now, you can see it's 356. So I don't know why it's so inconsistent in this fight, but I'm not going to complain because it made this fight extremely easy. We even eat a special one here, guys, and we are still winning the regen versus damage race. So we're getting 1,000 regen per second from willpower, and we were only taking 500 damage per tick. I have no idea what's going on in this fight, guys, genuinely. And I'm not going to complain, like I said. I thought once I ate that special one, I thought I was going to die. But we're literally just gaining health. So I've got no idea, guys. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why this is happening. But I'm pretty sure I could chalk it up to like inequity and maybe some pacify shenanigans with some weird ability extra reduction going on. Void's also an older champion, so that's like another explanation. But I mean, dude, we have 8 weaknesses on us and the damage is like non-existent. So I don't know what we did, but hey, we soloed the fight. That's all that matters, right? I mean, we're at 19 fights soloed once we get Void down. Right here, I'm backing off to like try to get the debuffs off, and I'm like, I don't think this is really doing anything. So I end up just attacking him and playing into it even more. So I'll meet you guys at the Nick Fury fight. I'm gonna let the rest of this one play out. The Nick Fury fight, that was a fun one. So I'll catch you guys there. Alright, so Void is down thanks to our red numbers getting through Power Shield. So yeah, next up, we have the final fight of the paths. Not final fight of the ordeal, the final fight of the paths, and that's Nick Fury. I never thought about it before, but it feels very fitting that he's the final fight. It's not like the rest of the quest is like full of all Avengers and whatnot, but I don't know, it just feels fitting that he's like the pseudo boss, I guess, like the pseudo final boss. He's the path fight final boss, I guess is what you want to call it. So yeah, Overseer is not a Nick Fury counter by any means, but Nick Fury in general, you can counter him with kind of anybody. You just like, you're gonna deal with the second life. You're not gonna find a way to turn it off with Overseer, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Nick Fury goes unblockable, which is annoying. but again, if you know how to deal with it, you should be fine. There's kinetic transference here, so when he strikes your block, he gains power, which extremely useful here because if you don't want to bait a special 1, you just want to block bait, and that will make it easier to bait special 2s, which is the special that you want to bait. Right there, that was kind of scary because he started attacking us while he's unblockable. If he went for a light ending combo and got us with one of those long bleeds, or the potent bleeds, I think we would have been absolutely fried. We would have been cooked. I would have had to redo the run. Would have been all bad. All bad. So, luckily he was nice, finished with a second medium, placed those really weak bleeds on us, and yeah, I would have been in shambles if he had used the light attack. I would have been so sick. But yeah, we bait the special 2 here. Takes a little bit for him to throw it, and yeah, now we're gonna go in, punish, and we just want to go for another special 3 here. We need this dude to play into us though, so we go for a combo into a special 3. I think this was risky because it's not going to push into 2 bars of power. Oh, actually it did. That was a nice surprise. But yeah, 26% health, and we're almost onto Thanos. So yeah, Nick Fury, now we're chunking him down that we got Cosmic Mode active, we've got the Fury going, dealing some really solid burst damage. And the amazing thing about Nick Fury is he's so much fun to fight. If you like fighting Nick Fury, you get to fight him twice every single fight because of his second life. It's so tiring. Yeah. I don't like fighting Nick Fury just because the second life is so annoying. It feels so unfair. He has like an artificial second health pool, and it's like just so stupid. But yeah, we just kind of waited out here. We wanted to wait just a little bit. We'll punish our heavy attacks if he launches them. We go for an intercept there just because I know it'll push him to a special 2. And since we're at 4 gamma power and we have that striker pretty much ready, I think we're going to go for a finish here. So we go striker into special 2, drop it. Actually, we're going to bait his special 2 and we go for our special 3. That should deal the most damage. So yeah, special 3 here, get the perfect bonus, skip it, and that does, I think, 69,000 burst, which is, it's just wild. And now we go for heavy attack. That dealt over 100,000 damage in total on the heavy attack. That's just nuts. We're at Thanos now, and this fight, oh, Thanos, you're so frustrating. First phase, perfectly fine. Second phase, perfectly fine. Third phase, what happens? I'm an idiot. That's what happens. So you know what we do? We run this shit back, dude. we switch up the synergy team slightly. So what we have now is Heimdall. I don't know if Heimdall will save us. If he does, great. If he doesn't matter because we don't need it. We did bring Pavitra along because he has a great synergy with Overseer, and then he also took some of the fights that Overseer did before. He ended up taking them instead, so I think Pavitra took Vision, Terrax, and then a couple other ones, I think like Black Panther. So yeah, he was a really good option in general for this content. I would highly recommend using him for the hero run if you haven't done it already. Really great champion. He works perfectly for this. And he also has a great synergy with Overseer. Overseer gains or places a wither debuff on the opponent. I think it's 65% potency when they're above 2 bars of power. So at the end of the fight against Thanos, when he has the 2 bar of powers and then 2 bars of power, and he works his way up to 3 bars, the wither is reducing the rate at which he gains that power. So you essentially have more time to kill him before he can launch those special 3s. It also means if you aren't comfortable trying to land an intercept against Thanos with Death Touch, you could just wait out the Death Touch. It does have a duration to it. You could wait it out, and once that's gone, then you can go for your intercept. Thanos could still hit you pretty hard if he does hit you, so you want to be careful there. But yeah, it's a lot safer with Pavitra. The pairing of Overseer and Pavitra is just awesome. But Overseer's not a hero, he's not a villain, so don't use him for any of your runs. Please do not do so. I don't want to be responsible for you guys feeling like you thought he would work for a run and he didn't, even though I told you guys in like the first 30 seconds of the video. We did get the really fun widescreen bug here. It's one of my favorite bugs with this fight is the like widescreen aspect ratio. It's I really don't think it's intended, but I love it. I think it's so cool. I almost wish it was intended because it feels so cinematic with like the super wide screen. You can see the whole battlefield. It's just sweet. The reason why I kept recoil on for this fight was because the second phase here does heal you to full. If you're running 3 out of 3 recovery, you boost that recovery that he gives you. And yeah, it makes no sense not to run recoil here with Overseer, just because he benefits so much from the mastery setup that I outlined earlier. And yeah, it just makes it easier to finish out this fight because you're dealing more damage, and you want more damage because this fight sucks. So yeah, Thanos, we're about halfway done with this guy, and you know, this is the final fight in the path for me to say that Overseer can solo every single Ordeal fight. Not many champions can say that. In fact, I think there's only one champion right now who has done this. I think it's Spider-Man 2099. I think I saw someone do that. So yeah, Spider-Man 2099 is the only other champion who's done this. I think people have done it in Grandmaster's Gauntlet, which is still extremely impressive, but Ordeal has like 1 million more health on average than some of those fights. So yeah, they're a lot harder when you have increased stats, increased health. They last longer. It's not like you could just absolutely nuke through a lot of these fights. You have to kind of answer them or play them well. So yeah, I think it's really impressive that Overseer is able to do this. So yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush and like hide the ball from you guys. Overseer's max boosted here. I am running a dedicated mastery setup for him. I have a full synergy team for him. I updated my rune and stat focus for him to make him work for this, but I still don't think that makes this any less impressive. I also don't think that changing my synergy team for the second run here makes it less impressive as well, because there's only one other champion who's done this. I don't think it's really that common to find a character who can work for all 20 fights, plus this final fight here. And I do think I could have gotten through all the other fights if I had swapped Mojo out and brought Pavitra in. I think that would have been a better synergy team, and I think I would have been able to get Thanos down the first time if I didn't screw up. So yeah, I really don't think it's really that crazy. I don't think I have to put an asterisk on this. Like, I think this is as good as it gets, in my opinion. So yeah, this fight is pretty much done. We go for the Striker intercept there while he has the Death Touch, because that's a lot safer than risking Overseer. You just throw the Striker, and the Striker lands that intercept, and now Thanos is pretty much done. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by smashing that like button. If you're new here and you're still here at the end of this video, you must have enjoyed it somewhat. So consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps grow the community. I'm just pumped to be able to show off rank 5 Overseer to you guys. I love this champion. He's so much fun. I'll see you guys for the next video or stream. Peace out, guys.